pretty sky. Isn't that lovely? I'm out here on the lake. One of my goals is to kayak all the lakes in the area. There are 88. We live in eastern Ontario. And so I haven't kayaked this lake yet. And it has a provincial park on it. There, that narrows it down. And so it's got a beach. And what I'm doing is I parked by the side of the road. I put my kayak in the lake beside the park, not at the park. And then I've kayaked around the edge of the park. It's very interesting because I'm seeing which campsites are on the water and what kind of access they have to the water from the water's perspective, right? Well, hello, Annie Oakley. How are you today? Annie Oakley. Now, doesn't she shoot everybody up? Oh, Mountain View Vintage. Yes, you must get a kayak. Kayak is a necessity. I don't know if they were for sale during the pandemic when it was essential items for sale only. I suppose a kayak was not considered essential. We're just a spoiled society, that's all. Massages, kayaks. Wow, it's so pretty out here. Look at that. Look at how it's just waving. It's really pretty. It's nice. I'm having fun. I've just got my legs up on the end. Uh-oh. You see, the wind will blow you. Here, you want some more helpful hints? Kayaking hints? There's a lot of yelling over there at the beach. It does sound like it's a torturous place. Someone is going swimming that doesn't want to go swimming? I don't know. Maybe it's just children fighting. One never knows. If you know, let me know. That'll be interesting. You know, sometimes when I'm in a restaurant, there's a table beside me. Well, there's always a table beside you, but sometimes they're having a very interesting conversation. And so I listen to the conversation. It's really interesting, you know. And of course, when you don't have anything to do, girls can definitely do anything boys can do, and generally a lot better. Boys are very concerned with all the possible ramifications of every action. The whole life is a game of chess. You have to be 20 steps ahead. No, thank you. I'll just go kayaking. And if I fall in the water, I get wet. If my book falls in the water, it gets wet. If my book falls in the water, it dies. I have on my life jacket. If I don't do anything silly, I'll be staying here. Now, there are two kinds of kayaks. One is sort of round when you look at it from the end. That kind is for the rapids. and the rapids, you need that round one to stay up rapids. But when you're in a regular spot, like a lake, then you want one that's more flat. It's an oval kind of a shape, not really pointed. Mine is, anyway, where it's got a bunch of it underneath. Now, the amount of your boat that is underwater when you're sitting in it is the amount of water that is in your way. So your boat may only be in that deep. It's generally not in as deep as all the way up, you know. You can see on the inside where the water level is. So this is about 3 inches in the water or something. But when you paddle, paddle. Can you see the paddle? So when you paddle, first of all, you have to turn the oar so that it's going to move the water. So it's like a scoop, right? You want to scoop the water away, but you don't have to go in deep. No. It's not like other things like kayaking or whatever. You don't go in deep, you just have to go in 3 inches. So half of the width of the paddle. And on these paddles, the bottom's tapered, so it's sort of square with the bottom, with the water. This is my city experience when I go near provincial parks. There's a lot of people around. You know, I've had enough of being alone for a while. I'm ready to be with people again. Hence the video. Dum-da-da. I was quite surprised I have cell service out here in this wilderness lake. I mean, this is really incredible. We are Can't believe how privileged we are. We have all this. And no generation before us has had all this. Not the internet, technology. They may have had lots of riches and possessions at different kingdoms, but I don't think they ever had technology. There's no technology stuff being dug up when they find pottery bowls and other things, archaeological digs. They never find technology. Nobody else has ever had this stuff. And there's been billions and billions of people come to this earth in all the thousands and years that people have lived on it, or however long people have lived on it. I don't know these things. And we have all this. It's pretty cool. Pretty amazing. I can sit in a kayak with my feet out. And if I lose my moccasins, I hope I don't. I love my moccasins. But if I lose them, I have other shoes, and I could probably buy another pair of moccasins. Actually, I have another pair. You know, like, we're so privileged. Us in the developed worlds, first world stuff. Anyway, why are we talking about that? So, hints about kayaking. When you get into a kayak, it's really good to put it between a rock and a hard place. Really, you're in best shape if you're between a rock and a hard place. If your kayak is. If you can put it on sand, you want your kayak to be parallel with the beach. You don't want to stick it perpendicular so it's sticking in the water, because then the water's deep on that end and shallow on this end. So you're going to step in it and it's going to try to do stuff to you. It's not going to do what you think it's going to do. So, but if you put it parallel to the beach and you know the water's only 4 inches deep or whatever, then you've got your kayak right there and you can step into it. It's best to leave all these things, your violin and your journal and your phone and whatever else you've got. It's best to leave it on the shore, on the ground, about a foot away from the water, or a foot away from the kayak, which should be probably maybe half a foot, 6 inches from the water. Anyway, so you step in your kayak, and in your weight then lowers it down so it's standing firmly on the sand. Now, if you don't have enough water there, you don't want to be too heavy on that sand, or you're not going to get out of there. So you may want to put it in just a little further before you step into it. But you don't want it floating